what do you think the chances of them prevailing in court are, seeing how no information of any value can ever be revealed to them?
It depends on the judge, obviously, and the way the judge reads the law. And what has happened in some previous cases is that in a situation involving foreign terrorists and others, courts have ruled that they actually do have due process rights, that they have to be told what they did wrong, and they have to be given a chance to explain and to defend themselves. So it is possible, I'm not saying it's likely, but it is possible the judge could say, well, without revealing anything that's classified, without explaining his decision, which he doesn't have to, the president doesn't have to, isn't it possible that the company deserves some non-classified information about what they were doing wrong? And if so, then can they explain, perhaps, that they could have avoided that wrong in a way that would have enabled them not to be damaged, or not or to mitigate their damages. In other words, not lose as much.
I believe the last time a president intervened like this was in 1990. Am I correct? It was a while ago.
It was a while ago.
So for this case, is this really, do you think this is political, or do you think this is legitimate, because this kind of power is not exercised very often?
You're right, and it's a bit of a head scratcher. And again, in looking at it, we only know what the court papers say, and they don't say very much at all about why CFIUS, again, this committee, which again consists of the Secretary of the Treasury is the head of the committee, by the way, and other heads of different departments participate, or their representatives participate. So we don't know why this particular case was necessary to take to the president. Usually, the CFIUS finds a way to resolve amicably in some way the situation. Hey, foreign company, you're making a mistake. Foreign individual, you're making a mistake, divest, put your property in the hands of an American, now you've solved the problem.
Right.
They didn't do that here. And all we know, and this is in the court papers, is that the wind farms were close to a naval installation.
Right.
But why they couldn't be sold to Americans, and have that suffice instead of having a formal order like we had, we don't know.
Because this company, Roel's, never pre-filed their intention, and CFIUS discovered it on their own, do you think that made things worse? Is this perhaps an example-setting mission more than true national security concerns? I
would not want to believe that there aren't national security concerns. I would believe that the president and his people and the advisors from the different committees that looked into this, which would include the Navy and other military people, truly believe that there is a national security problem. We don't know what it is. We don't know why. But, the fact that they didn't file, I think, put them behind the curve, as we say. It put them at a disadvantage. Because it could have been better had they waited to buy and given notice, and then perhaps they would have heard from CFIUS that they did have these concerns, and they would have avoided making the investment. However, having said that, the company had lawyers and is to some extent a victim. These things happen. People make mistakes. And it still seems a harsh way, to deal with them, given what occurred, and given that they were willing to sell the entire project to Americans.
According to a study by the Rhodium Group, the last 15 months, private Chinese firms have spent more on deals in the U.S. than the previous 11 years combined. So even though this thing is a tragedy for that company, and also, quite frankly, I suppose it makes America look bad in the eyes of Chinese, the reality is things are going quite strong. What advice can you give for companies so they avoid this trouble?
Two things, Rick. One is, yes, companies should get lawyers and should be aware that there's always an interest by the government, the U.S. government, of national security. It's understandable. Every country has the same interest. Every country, to my knowledge, reviews potential investments by foreign companies or foreigners, right? So that shouldn't upset the Chinese, or it shouldn't upset other foreign individuals. I think that the opportunities in the United States are very strong, and so I hope that Chinese companies and Chinese investors see America as a very good place to invest, and we offer more opportunities. It's a very interesting thing. It's hard to buy companies in other countries. you can buy companies in the United States, far, far more easily. So that's why I think that the Chinese, in spite of this, and other investors from foreign countries will come to the U.S. Mm-hmm. But I think I want to leave you with this idea. The executives that own Rawls, and Mr. Wu is one of the individuals, actually have done something that I think is very interesting and perhaps will help other foreign companies, because by bringing this lawsuit, it could be that there is some due process, as we were talking about earlier, right, that is conferred, by the courts. Mm-hmm. Courts in America try to be fair and fair to everyone, and I think that could be a benefit. And then there's a second thing too. What other country? Not many countries allow individuals to sue the government and sue the president, for that matter. So maybe there's a civics lesson here, to the Chinese people and to others. The United States is not perfect, but in the United States, you can sue the president of the United States.
Long term, how do you think this is going to affect relations?
The United States is very open to foreign investment, including Chinese, and we very much would appreciate, and it's good for our economy to have Chinese investment in the U.S., so we're hoping they continue it. In the same way, I think America and American business people want to have opportunities in China. And so I think this will end up being sort of an event that perhaps defines the rules a little bit better, but it's not going to stop. I think Chinese business people see too many opportunities in America. Mm-hmm. And in spite of CFIUS, America is wide open in terms of the ability to own companies and to prosper, much more so, than Europe or other parts of Asia.
Thanks, Roel. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today.
Thank you, Rick.
I'd like to thank our guest, Mr. Roel Campos, a partner at the law firm of Locke Lord. I'm Rick Schatzman. I'll see you again next time on Business Tech on Channel C.